Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. We'll be learning about radiance. And as always, let's start with some songs and prayers.
Ye are the trees of my garden. Ye are the trees of my garden. Ye must give forth goodly and wondrous fruits. Ye must give forth goodly and wondrous fruits, that ye yourselves and others may profit therefrom. That ye yourselves and others may profit therefrom. O my servant, O my servants. Ye are the trees of my garden. Ye are the trees of my garden. Ye must give forth goodly and wondrous fruits. Ye must give forth goodly and wondrous fruits, that ye yourselves and others may profit therefrom. That ye yourselves and others may profit therefrom. O my servants, O my servants, O my servants.
This is a song that you can also do the movements to. I am, oh my God, but a tiny seed, which thou hast sown in the soil of thy love, and caused to spring forth by the hands of thy bounty. I am, oh my God, but a tiny seed.
Hi, I'm going to be saying a prayer in French that you might already know in English. Okay, I'm going to be saying both versions. First in English. Oh God, guide me, protect me, make of me a shining lamp and a brilliant star. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. And now in French it is, Oh mon Dieu, guide-moi, protège-moi, illumine la lampe de mon cœur et fais de moi une étoile brillante. Je le faire le puissant. Abdel-Baha. Bye!
上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，请赐我一个纯净的心，像珍珠般晶莹。请赐我一个纯净的心，像珍珠般晶莹。上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝，上帝呀，上帝，我的上帝。
So for us to better understand radiance, we'll be learning a quote. So we all know that the light of God warms us like the light. And now we have to develop that light in our hearts with kindness and love, so we can give off that light to everyone and we're radiant. So here is the quote.
Peace, everyone. I'm Chandra, and today's quote is, O Son of Being, thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance, and seek none other than me. Now, when I think of radiance, I think of my mom, who was a beautician, and she is with God now. When she would go to work, she would greet everyone and at different places, and she would touch everyone. Like everyone was touched by her radiance. They got a really good feel, a good, warm, happy feeling. And that's what I get. That's what I think about when I think of radiance. The word seek is the example of to look. Now we could say, like, if you're gonna bless your food when you have dinner, or you say a prayer before you go to sleep, you're looking to God. You are seeking Him. So that is my take on seek. Now, what I want to do is show you how to remember this quote. What I would say is I would start with the first line, and then I'd stop. Then you would finish. You would actually not finish. You would start over. O Son of Being, Thou art my lamp. And then I would go, O Son of Being, Thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Okay, and then now I would go, O Son of Being, Thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance. O Son of Being, Thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance, and seek none other than me. So now we are at the end of learning the quote. Today's quote is about radiance and seeking God. Love and light.
Good job on the quote. And now let's listen to a story about radiance.
Hello and welcome to our story for today. Today we'll be reading about Dorothy Baker, a figure in the Baha'i faith, and her story about radiance when she met Abdu'l-Baha. Dorothy Baker was a noble and distinguished lady and one of the great figures of the Baha'i faith. When she was a young girl, she had the honor of meeting Abdu'l-Baha during his travels in the West. She was so drawn to his radiance and love that she longed to follow in his footsteps. So as you learned in the quote, Abdu'l-Baha had all this radiance that he shared with the world, and Dorothy Baker was so drawn to it. It was Dorothy's grandmother, Ellen Beecher, who took her to meet Abdu'l-Baha. Arriving at a house that she had never been to before, Dorothy entered a room in which many people were talking quietly and reverently while waiting for Abdu'l-Baha to speak. Abdu'l-Baha smiled at Mrs. Beecher as they came in the room and motioned to the young Dorothy to sit near him. Dorothy was a very shy child. Without looking up from the floor, she carefully walked past the people who were sitting around him to reach the footstool near his feet. While Abdu'l-Baha spoke, she sat with her eyes down, staring at her black shoes. He did not look at her, and she did not have the courage to look at him. Dorothy was nervous and continued looking down, afraid of the unknown. But gradually she relaxed, and soon her fear was gone. A feeling of deep longing had come over her. She was filled by a strong desire for her soul to be lost in the greatness of Abdu'l-Baha's love. She was touched by his radiance, wrapped in the warmth of his presence. Dorothy's fear had been replaced by a greater force. She could not imagine being separated from Abdu'l-Baha for even one moment. His loving eyes seemed to speak to her, telling her of the spiritual worlds of God. His radiance was magnetic. Without even realizing that she had moved, Dorothy found herself turned in his direction with her elbows on her knees and chin in her hands, gazing at Abdu'l-Baha's luminous face. Dorothy could not remember what Abdu'l-Baha spoke that day. All she could remember was his kind face, his melodious voice, and the warmth of his presence. The love she had in her heart was so strong that at last she decided to write a letter to Abdu'l-Baha. In the letter, she begged him to let her serve him and the cause of his father, Baha'u'llah. In his answer to Dorothy, Abdu'l-Baha praised her goal, assured her of God's bounties, and expressed the hope that she would succeed in her desire. And indeed, Dorothy dedicated her entire life to serving God and humanity. So Dorothy Baker was so drawn to the radiance of Abdu'l-Baha that she chose to spend her entire life serving humanity. And I think that that's pretty wonderful.
Now, for the last part, we will do art together to make some lanterns for Radiance.
Hi, for this week's art lesson, we're going to make paper lanterns, and I have some examples of what it'll end up looking like right over here. And all you'll really need is the template that's linked at the bottom, and you're just gonna have to print it out. If you do not have a printer, that's totally fine. I'm gonna actually show you how to make it without a printer. So the first one I'm gonna show you is how to make it with a printer. And so what you're gonna do is you are going to cut along the lines, and you're gonna cut out the handle. And with this template, you can actually get two mini paper lanterns. And what you're gonna do is, like I said, cut around it, and it'll end up looking like this. And then you're going to fold it in half. You're gonna make a rectangle. You're gonna take scissors. If you need help, definitely get an adult to help you. You're just going to cut along all of these black lines, making mixed. You get to the end, and what it'll end up looking like is just like this. And then the next part is to take either glue, tape, or a stapler. If you use a stapler, get help from an adult. I'm just gonna use glue, a glue stick, excuse me, and I'm going to glue the end of one of the ends, and I'm going to roll it up, and I'm going to connect it to the end, and it's gonna end up looking like this. And then you're gonna take the handle, which has the quote, and you're basically going to glue both ends, maybe like ½ an inch on each side. And you're just going to attach it to the top, and you have a mini lantern. And then if you do not have a printer, basically just find any piece of paper you have in your house. I'm just gonna use a plain piece of paper. And you can always color these or paint them to, make it your own. So you're going to cut it in half, and it should look like this. And then you're gonna take your scissors, and you're going to cut off this extra piece, which will end up actually being your handle. And then what you're going to do is you have a square, and you're going to fold your square in half and make a long rectangle. And again, you're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna make lines in it. And you can either space out your lines, or you can make them really close together. It's really whatever you want to do with it and how you want it to end up looking like. Once you're done, it's gonna look like this. And then same thing, you're gonna take your glue, and you are going to glue one end. You're gonna roll it up and connect it. And then you can write the quote that is on the template on your handle actually, if you want. And what I did is I actually just cut my handle in half, and then you're gonna connect it, and what'll end up looking like is this, this longer lantern. And you know, you can put these by the window and you can have light shining through it, or you can have one of those little battery operated candles. You can also put it under it. But yeah, I hope you have fun with this project, making paper lanterns. Thank you.
That's all for today's lesson. We hope you enjoyed. Have a happy, safe weekend.